Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Luis, and God bless every single one of you. Today is March 7th, 2024, and welcome to the Grand Supreme News channel. Alright guys, so give me a second here. I want to make sure the live stream is working. If you guys can hear me, leave comments down below. But we do have some breaking news. Breaking news coming out right now. There is chaos unfolds outside the White House. And there is more events going on right now. You guys already know today is that State of the Union speech, and they put up the fence. They put up the fence, and there is a lot of people out there. We mentioned this earlier today that there was going to be some stuff to come. So we are seeing something right now, and a lot of stuff is taking place these last couple of days. It says here chaos unfolds outside the White House as man arrested for revving engine near the palace protester amid the president's State of the Union speech. Once again, happening in D.C. Let me just play this video really quick. So that's what's going on right now, guys. There's some stuff happening in D.C. Also, we just got more information about Russia and the United States. A travel advisory, do not travel level 4. There's some stuff going on in these tough times. I do believe that we are on high alert. Man, just looking at this here. I do believe we are on high alert. So, let me just read this really quick here, guys. So, currently, a chaotic scene is unfolding as law enforcement struggle to control a crowd while arresting a man who revved his engine near the seized you-know-what outside the White House. Now, this incident occurs as the president prepares to deliver State of the Union address at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. Law enforcement is on high alert. There you go, guys. Once again, we are seeing some chaotic scene going on, and I do believe those fence, hopefully everything is under control. I pray that our law enforcement, police officers, and I pray for everyone out there that everybody's safe tonight. But we are seeing all these riots happening, and I do believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Once again, law enforcement, DC law enforcement is on high alert. Give me 1 second here, guys. I want to make sure everything is running well. Okay. We have more breaking news updates. Hold on. We have more breaking news. We just got this just now. Hold on. Whoa. 10 minutes ago, we have more breaking news. I'm going to take you back to that story, but let's see what's going on here. Hundreds of protesters are blocking the motorcade route. Wow! As President Biden heads to the U.S. Capitol for the State of the Union address. Oh, man. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. So once again, this is happening in D.C. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now in D.C. Currently, hundreds of protesters have shut down Pennsylvania Avenue, right outside the U.S. Capitol, sitting down around a giant, again, flag, as they are attempting to block the motorcade route as the president heads to the U.S. Capitol for the State of the Union address in D.C. Once again, the protesters are demanding a permanent ceasefire. Wow. Once again, that's going on right now. Mm. I'm gonna share this video on my Twitter page if you guys want to check out the video. I'm not gonna play the audio, but yeah, that's what's going on right now, guys. And since that's happening, we also have more breaking news updates. I want to bring this one up too. Um, you have U.S. and Russia. Americans told to avoid gatherings in Moscow, Russia, amid reports of certain groups' imminent plans to strike. So this is the first time you have U.S. and Russia coming out and saying, "Yeah, this gonna be something that's gonna hit the fan pretty soon." Uh, right now, U.S. and Russia is on high alert. I do believe Defcon has got to be on two, Defcon 2 at least. So we are seeing National Guards in New York. These National Guards, oh, by the way, there was a big attack in New York City in the subway today. There was a huge attack in a subway station that happened today, and I don't know what happened, guys. Usually, well, not usually, but there's supposed to be National Guards checking people's bag, and for some reason, they might have missed someone because this person had a knife on him in the subway. So that happened today. That video is gonna come up after this live stream here. So New York is also on high alert, believe it or not. National Guard and troopers, they do have their GUN. All right, so they out there. But there was big breaking news. There was a good Samaritan. He was trying to defend an elderly woman. She was being harassed by two young men, and it seems like these people came from the southern region, so they were trying to harass her. And so this good Samaritan came out of nowhere, and he got sliced. But from what I heard, he's doing okay. He got a couple of stitches, but they're still looking for the two men. They're still looking for the two men. So once again, New York, people need to get out of Dodge in that area. All right, let me take you back to this one here, guys. All right, so once again, currently a chaotic scene is unfolding as police officers struggle to control a crowd while cuffing a man who revved his engine near the protest outside the White House. This incident occurred as the president prepares to deliver the State of the Union address at the U.S. Capitol in D.C. Law enforcement is on high alert. There is so much stuff going on right now, guys. Oh, the dude had a Mustang. You have the FBI now on the scene outside the White House as D.C. police tow away the vehicle that was driven up to the sidewalk where these group activists were positioned. Yikes. All right, so that's what's going on right now, guys. But I want to take you to this one. Let's see what's going on with this. This is an update. All right? I did post a video, guys. Make sure you check out the videos I posted today. We have lost more than 85% of views. And many of you have sent me emails saying that you're not receiving my notification. Guys, I don't know what's going on with the platform, but this is not only happening to me. This is happening to a lot of YouTubers. This is one person I felt really bad for. from 50,000 views, he only getting 800 views. That's not normal. So Shadow BAN is the real deal. So continue to pray for our channel. Continue to pray for other people's channel. We are seeing some great stuff going on. When you speak the truth, you guys already know the result to it. All right, let's see what's going on with this one. So the United States State Department's embassy in Moscow told Sleeping Giant citizen to avoid large gathering in the Bear capital city amid reports of imminent plans of strike by extreme you-know-what. Here's the thing. I did post the video, but a lot of people just didn't understand the message, the video that I was putting out. When I made this video, I made it 2 hours ago, and we didn't get a lot of information, so I just put out the travel advisory and level 4, and I mentioned that I have no idea what's going on in this story because I'm trying to figure out what group the US is talking about. They said it's an imminent plan of strike by these, I don't know what group they're talking about. ISIS, you guys already know ISIS, but I have no idea what group they're talking about. They're saying that there's some certain groups out there that might do some damage or some surprise event in the next possibly 48 hours. In a security alert on Thursday, the State Department said that they are monitoring reports that certain groups may target large gatherings, including concerts, in the next 48 hours. All right. So again, I did post the video. Give me a second here. The problem is, it's again, our videos just completely dropped. We don't get much views anymore. So this is the video right here. Do not travel. Security alert. Avoid large gatherings. So again, make sure you guys check out these videos. All right. So and you know, I am posting very, very important stuff here. All right. Let's go back with the breaking news here. All right. So once again, the U.S. is sounding the alarm, and there's a possibility that we might see something in the next 48 hours. So the embassy is monitoring reports that certain groups have imminent plans to strike large gatherings in the Bear capital, to include concerts, and Sleeping Giant citizens should be advised to avoid large gatherings over the next 48 hours. So you see what's going on here? So you have New York, you have all these National Guards and state troopers or rangers. I think they're rangers, but you have all of them out there, and they are, I mean, they have guys that these National Guards, they have some very powerful stuff. Man, very powerful stuff. And they're not there just because people are stealing purse. I believe they're there because it's something else. But yeah, you have National Guards in New York. You have a lot of stuff happening in various places. Now you have U.S. citizens in the Bear country on high alert. Something's going on here. Something definitely happening right now in various places around the world. And for those of you that don't know, the Sleeping Giant, again, very important announcement by the president. They're going to build a port in the Strip, Gaza Strip. All right, so, and he's going to talk about taxing the billionaires. He's going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, very important speech is going to be the State of the Union speech by the president. All right, so the embassy is monitoring reports that the group have imminent plans to strike large gatherings. All right, so the agency said in the alert. So the embassy told residents to avoid crowds, monitor local media for updates, and to be aware of their surroundings amid the heightened threat. Following the Bear invasion of UKR in 2022, The Sleeping Giant Embassy in Moscow has routinely advised Americans living in the Bear Country to take safety precautions. In February 2023, the State Department ordered all U.S. citizens in the Bear to leave immediately. The Sleeping Giant citizens residing or traveling in the Bear Country should depart immediately. Once again, the U.S. Embassy in Moscow warned. Exercise increased caution due to the risk of wrongful detention in a stark message. The department also said, do not travel to Russia. All Americans have been warned to find a way out of the country immediately, and reminded that U.S. debit or credit cards do not work. And wow. Woo! Guys, I've been telling everyone, get your money out. Man, get your money out. You got to get your money out the bank. Everything is going to be, get your money out the bank. Stay away from large gathering. I've been saying this for many, many months. All Americans have been warned to find a way out of the country immediately, and reminded that U.S. debit or credit cards do not work in Russia, and the electronic transfer of funds has become increasingly difficult due to sanctions. Man. Oh. You want Americans to get out, but you kind of block the access to debit cards and credit cards. All right, guys, that's very important information. Make sure you check out my videos. Again, I did talk about this. Give me a second here. I want to double check something really quick. And if you guys missed it, let me show you some of this stuff here. Give me a second. So you have the president has a fence to protect him. To protect him during the, you guys know, the events tonight. But he won't finish the wall at our southern region to protect who? Us. Protection for him, not for us. Unbelievable. You guys want to check out this video? Follow me on Twitter, guys. You have, again, you have some politicians out there. They're not pleased. So, Breaking Forward News reporter, I'm going to skip the name, is in our nation's capital ahead of the president's third State of the Union's address to Congress and the American people. Major security preparations are underway on the Capitol, including the re-election of a large perimeter fence encircling the U.S. Capitol. Man. All right, let's see the president's giving his speech now. Give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. Guys, I can't find a live stream. There's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to get him in, but you have so many people just blocking it. Protesters are blocking Biden. Are you serious? Protesters are blocking Biden motorcade route to the Capitol for State of the Union. Seems like it's getting spicy already. Man. Canadian prepper. Canadian prep is like genius. Genius. Man. I guess he's going to be late for the event. I mean, just put him on a helicopter. Just oh man, give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Let me go check something out here. Oh man, everybody's sharing this. Breaking 7 minutes ago, Benny Johnson is putting out the information too. You have protesters are blocking the president motorcade to the State of the Union. I had a feeling there was gonna be something tonight. I had a strong feeling there was gonna be something. Hey, love pugs. God bless to all the moderators. Great American Homestead. Oh, you changed your name. Great American Homestead. I like that name. Um, wow, they got the big flag too. So they blocking everything. Hold on, we have more. Look at this. Oh, this is from earlier today. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen, guys. I don't know what's gonna happen. You think they might cancel it? Um, mm, yikes. Yeah, everybody's sharing the same video now. So, mm, give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second. Um, I'm checking out Steve Luckner. Um, I want to see what he say about this. Big shout out to Steve Luckner. Um, so it says here the president's State of the Union address starts in 41 minutes. So I'm here assuming it starts at 8. I truly apologize, but again, they blocking everything. So I don't know how they're gonna um, how the president is going to get through. So I got a strong feeling they're gonna start arresting people. That's what's gonna happen. So it's 8:20 p.m. So hopefully we get some more updates. But yes, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. So they're gonna have to remove all these people. Or they have a secret tunnel, right? I mean, I heard something about the White House and the Capitol and all that. They have like secret tunnels that leads to some kind of escape. I mean, they could go through there. I don't know, but we have more videos. All right, so this one's a different video. I haven't seen this one here. So once again, you have the far left risers. Once again, block the president motorcade while chanting. Oh, so they're chanting Democratic Party. We know what side you're on. Remember Hiroshima. Remember Vietnam. Wow, that's what they chanting. This is the one right here. I'm gonna share this video. I'm gonna share this one here, guys. Wow. It's not the best view, but you guys get the picture here. Yikes. So look at this here, guys. I'm not gonna read this one, but look at this banner. All right, I'm just looking at some messages here, guys. All right, let me go here really quick, guys. So 9 p.m. 9 p.m. That's when Biden gives his speech. And once again, guys, let me just bring this up really quick because many of you don't know, but I did post a video, and this link will be in the comments. Well, again, you can check it out in my second channel, The Real GS News. But again, U.S. issue extremist security threat for Moscow. Security alert, avoid large gatherings over the next 24 hours. I don't know, this could be related possibly to Sweden joining NATO. I mean, there's a possibility. Again, Sweden just joined NATO today. All right, so they are a new member of the alliance. All right, so like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, this is the one right here. This is the one. Sweden officially joins NATO. All right, so again, you guys already know the bear. They don't like that. They really don't like it. They find it. Give me a second here. They find it as a threat. Put it like that. I want to see what's going on with this one. This is coming out from RT. RT usually has a lot more information. So let's see what's going on here really quick, guys. And now I'm going to take it back onto Twitter. Once again, the U.S. Embassy in the Bear capital has warned that certain groups are plotting to carry out a huge event in the Bear capital within the next 48 hours. The embassy is monitoring reports that these groups, we don't know who these groups are. So the group have imminent plans to target large gatherings in the Bear capital to include concerts, and Sleeping Giant citizens should be advised to avoid large gatherings over the next 48 hours. The diplomatic mission said in a statement on its website in the early hours of Friday local time, just give me a second here, guys, it urged Americans to stay vigilant and monitor local media for updates. The embassy did not provide any additional details about the alert. Once again, the Bear authorities have not commented on the notice yet. That's strange. That's strange that they haven't come out and said anything about this breaking news. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to charge my phone. It's on 10%. All right. So the alert was issued amid the ongoing tension between Moscow and Washington. On Thursday, once again, the Bear Foreign Ministry summoned the Sleeping Giant ambassador, Lin, demanding that the embassy cut all ties with 3 Sleeping Giant-funded NGOs whose work was recently banned in the Bear country. You have Foreign Ministry further threatened to expel any of Sleeping Giant embassy employees who would attempt to interfere in the domestic affairs of the Bear Federation, including subversive campaigns and misinformation in the context of the conflict in UKR. in the upcoming presidential election in the Bear Country. All right, so once again, guys, uh, Sleeping Giant is urging their citizens living in the Bear Country in Russia to prepare yourself and to be aware of your surrounding in these next 48 hours. They are urging citizens to get out of there. The problem is how. How? Since they can't use credit cards. They cannot use the U.S. credit cards or debit cards. It just doesn't work out there because you slap sanctions on Russia. So debit cards and credit cards does not work in Russia. I'm still waiting for some updates here, guys. Once again, you have a protester stage a sit-in on the Pennsylvania Avenue between the Capitol building and once again the White House just an hour before the president's State of the Union address. Right now it's 8:30. It's 8:30 and we're still waiting for some updates. All right, let me just read some of your comments. I'm going to read some of your comments really quick here, guys. Sorry, I'm late. What's happening? There's a lot of stuff happening. There's so much stuff happening. Washington, D.C. is on high alert. That's what's going on. Washington, D.C. is on high alert. Law enforcement is on high alert. Let me bring this up really quick because a lot of people just tuning in. Let me just bring up these information. This is happening right now. This happened about an hour ago. All right, you had someone. There was a chaos unfold outside the White House as man arrested for revving engine near these group protester amid the leader's State of the Union speech. And he's been arrested. Now, once again, you have D.C. law enforcement is on high alert due to the upcoming protests. All right. So once again, we are praying for a lot of people out there. D.C. law enforcement is on high alert. I never see anything like this. Never ever seen anything like this. And they taken his car. Mustang. All right, so that person's been cuffed and his car has been towed. He's going to get a big fine. Big one. I don't know the fine out there in D.C., but yeah. And we also have this one. For those of you that just tuned in, once again, hundreds of the protesters out there are blocking the motorcade route as the president heads to the Capitol for the State of the Union. So again, currently hundreds of protesters have shut down Pennsylvania Avenue right outside the U.S. Capitol, sitting down around a giant, flag, as they are attempting to block the motorcade route as the president heads to the U.S. Capitol for the State of the Union address in D.C. All right, so you guys already know they are demanding a permanent cease, F-I-R-E. Man. Someone said not funny. No, I'm not. I'm not being funny here. I'm not being funny. OMG, I'm laughing so hard. Someone said, blah, 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 blah. Guys, there's going to be some negative comments. Just, again, try and ignore them. Just just ignore them. Um, I've been trying to delete all of them, and it just they act like children. Is really sad. It is. It's really sad. And sometimes you're gonna find those bots with their disgusting accounts, provocative stuff. Again, I'm trying my very best to remove those. Uh, it shouldn't be my job. I mean, the platform should do something about it. Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, he said that he deleted over 12 million of those accounts, and now it seems like they made their way on YouTube, and now they are all over my channel. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really trying to. And there you go. Hopefully that works. My phone charger is not great. All right, so U.S. claim, once again, the group may be plotting to target large gathering in the Bear capital, including concert in the next 48 hours. Americans told to avoid crowds. Please pray for many out there. And again, make sure you check out my video. I did post that video, guys. This is the one, all right? That's the one right there. Jeez, give me a second here. All right, so I did post the video. This is the one right here, and I post that video. I've been posting videos left and right. Make sure you check out these videos, and also make sure you double check that notification bell. All right, so it seems like I'm still waiting for some updates here, guys. I'm still waiting for some updates. I want to bring this up really quick. What in the world is this? Hold on. Strange object captured in the skies of Oklahoma. This is coming out right now. Experts speaking to NBC affiliate KFOR did not know what to make of it. There's a video too. The video was taken Monday evening by local residents, Steve, with multiple others observed. Several other local residents from across the area also reported the incident. All right, I just wanted to bring this up really quick. There's been some strange stuff going on. Signs of the heavens. Has a ring. That's strange. All right, so I'm just gonna skip that. Let me share this video. I'm gonna share it my my channel. All right. All right. I'm still waiting for some updates here, guys. Even Steve Luckner, he's waiting. All right, so let me just read some of your comments. Thank you, Louis. Love from Florida. Thank you so much. Who's that? Dr. Jesse. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate the kind words, guys. It does bring some kind of relief to me, because I do read a lot of comments, and I'm seeing so many negative stuff. It's just a headache. And when I read nice comments from you guys, it's a great relief. It is a great relief. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you, Louis. Thank you. Agreed, man. This is the beginning of what's to come. Yeah. It's just the beginning of what's to come. What concerns me is New York. You know, a lot of people left me emails and saying, Louis, there's a lot more than just Subway. There's so much things going on. Guys, they have this thing called the moped rider in New York. All right. You guys know New York passed a bill that they allowed people to ride their mopeds. Moped rider has been going around for many years, and if you see them, you don't want to get close to them. You want to stay as far away as possible. These moped rider comes from like other countries, third world country, and what they do is, when they get close to you, let's say you're walking and you have your phone, they get really close to you and they snatch your phone and they snatch your purse or whatever. These moped rider in New York is out of control. Is out of control. So if you live up there in New York or you're planning to go up to New York, vacation or something, you may want to stay as far as possible from the moped riders. And trust me, guys, I've been to South America and I've been to Puerto Rico, and in those countries they do have moped riders. So New York is filled with a moped riders, and it seems like those that's running New York, they want to transform that state into a third world. Man, it's not the same anymore. New York is not the same. So I do have a video coming up, guys. It's gonna be for the Real GS News, and there was another incident that took place in New York today. New York's subway station, and someone had some kind of a weapon, and again, it happened in the Bronx, and I don't know if there's National Guards out there in the Bronx, but there's National Guards in New York checking people's bags. All right, so we are still waiting. So you have, I don't know who's Santos. Santos arrived to Capitol for Biden's speech. So you have certain people arriving. All right, you have certain people arriving to the Capitol. But I heard the guy, the police officer, the one that was jumped in New York by those group, the migrants. I heard that he was going to be out there too at the Capitol. He's going to be there. He was invited by the speaker, Mike Johnson. So he's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people out there. My phone is not charging. Give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to get my other charger. Give me a second here. Yes, I got my phone charging. Finally, I got the phone charging. Oh man, it was like on 1%, and I have to pick up my wife. And if the phone is dead, then that would be a big problem. But thank you so much for the super chat. Who was that? Elizabeth Moon. Thank you so much. Great job, Lewis. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that. Thank you so much. Now, guys, for those of you that don't know, give me a second here. Is there more videos? Hold on. Give me a second. What is this? What? Hold on. So this is a picture that was released. So he's not ready to go. So there's a plan B into motion as the president fumbles dry run, according to inside sources. He wasn't able to make it all the way through. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research on that one there, guys. But there's some videos. Hold on, give me a second, DC. So there's some people inside. Biden's State of the Union address starts in 17 minutes. Which I don't think I'll be able to do that, guys. And I truly apologize. It's because I got to go pick up my wife and my kids. So 17 more minutes. So it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time. He's going to give the updates. Now, I follow Steve Luckner. If you guys want to check out Steve Luckner, I could share the link. I know some people don't like Steve Luckner, but yeah, he's been pretty good. I like his stuff. I just, when it comes to political stuff, again, certain things I just don't agree with. But again, that's part of being an American. So you have the right to support whatever you want to support, which party, either left or right. But at the very end, we are all Americans. So, and that's the good thing about this land. Sadly, too many people are forgetting that. Give me 1 second here, guys. So he's still blocked. I mean, people keep saying that he's still blocked. Joe's still blocked from entering State of the Union. There's a possibility, who knows, maybe, again, maybe they're gonna block it. Not block it, but yeah, maybe they're not even gonna do this tonight. It's just not safe, I guess. All right. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that live stream, guys. The State of the Union live stream. Let me go to the White House website. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. This is the only information I'm getting, and this is live right now. You have a couple of people in there. Everybody's saying hi. Who's that? Is that Bernie? Man, that dude never retires. Jeez. Man, he's been around since dinosaurs age. I'm kidding, guys. So everybody's just waiting. If they got through, you best believe the president could get through. Like I said, guys, there's a possibility they might, you know, hidden underground tunnel, because these areas, again, the Capitol and the White House, they have those hidden walls. Uh, Again, just in case something big happens. Who's that? Hakeem Jeffries. You have Hakeem Jeffrey. Man, they really love pointing the camera on Bernie Sanders. Um, so these area, they do have like the tunnels, hidden walls that they could get out and escape somewhere else. Give me a second here. Lois, do you think your surname is from a place in España named for? I don't know. My wife did. Well, my roots, I'm mixed with a lot of different nationality. 5% Jew, 10%. Um, Whoa, there he goes. Okay, guys, so it seems like he made it. So I'm like 5% Jew, 5%. Let's say that I'm also from Ukraine. I'm 50% Spain, and 2% Irish and all that. I'm like, man, I'm a mutt. So, and again, just born in the U.S. and raised in Puerto Rico, and came back to the U.S. at the age of 19 or 20. I don't remember. Okay, so hold on, the president's running. Hold on, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. I just got something here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, what is this? Hold on, guys. The president is running about. Okay, I'm about to say. The president is running about 20 minutes behind schedule ahead of the State of the Union speech due to hundreds of the protest. Guys, here's the thing. They say that speech starts at 9 p.m., but it doesn't start at 9 p.m. I mean, they always come in late, either 20 or 30 minutes late. And it's always been like that. It's always been like that. If they say there's a speech at 8 p.m., there's actually 8:20 or 8:30. So they take a extra 30 minutes, possibly to fix the hair, put some makeup on, or who knows, maybe someone hasn't showed up yet. So once again, this is going to be a delay. But let me take it back to the live stream. It seems like he's there. That was a live feed. Yeah, so this one is live. So I guess that's him. He's in there. He's in there. Oh, there you go, AOC. Something happened to her the other day. She was watching a movie at the movie theater, and then there was there was a group of people that just with their phones right in front of her face, and she left the movie theater. She was not pleased. She was not pleased. You have Chuck. I see Chuck in there. This is gonna be his third. He's Chuck. Chuck Schumer. Is that Nancy? No, it can't be Nancy. Okay, give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me just fix this so you guys have a better view. I got it all zoomed in. Um, That's Nancy. That woman looks a lot younger. Man, I tell you guys, money does make it look young. Give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, give me a second here, guys. Ooh, love you too, baby. I have to text my wife. Okay. Okay. You know what? Let me set up.
No, there's another feed which I'm not allowed to use. I'm allowed to use this feed, not the other feed.
Hold on, give me a second. I just put the audio. I'm hearing Steve Luckner and okay, so here we go, guys. You have the speaker. All right, so the speaker escort the president of the United States. This is only the news media, they talking. So this is not, it's only the news media, so this is like their subtitles. So you have the speaker and you have the VP.
Herding cats, it's really hard. You saw Marjorie Taylor.
Yeah, it's just the news media talking right now. Guys, one thing I tell you, Mr. Mike Johnson, I like Johnson. If I had to pick like someone to be president, I would definitely choose Johnson. And for some reason, I like what, when he became speaker, the first thing he did, he prayed. He got down to his knees and prayed. And that's what we need, and he's a Christian and, again, lines up with scripture. Let me take you back on Twitter really quick and see if there's any more. Oh, guys, again, for those of you that don't know, I know many of you see like that PayPal in that live stream thing. I forgot to tell you guys, we've been saying this since 2016. I don't mind like the super chat, and thank you so much for the super chat. But we usually put the PayPal. So for those of you that want to support us, just support us through PayPal and not the super chat. And the reason why is because YouTube takes 30% of the super chat. So let's say you send 50, right, through the super chat. YouTube takes 30% of that. And I don't know why, but it's been like that since the very beginning. That's why we put the PayPal. We've been doing that since 2016 for those of you that are new. Let's see what's going on here. Once again, Biden's going to be late. We have more breaking news. Hold on, we have more breaking news. The president is running about 20 minutes late behind schedule ahead of his State of the Union speech due to... No. Guys, no. So you got everyone. Everyone is there already. Everyone is already... everyone showed up. Everyone showed up except for Joe. It's just strange. It's strange. Everybody's there. They're saying that he's the only one. He's just running late. So you got Mike Johnson there. You have the VP. She's there. Everybody's there. You have Chuck. He's there. Nancy. Bernie. AOC. Everybody's there. The only one that's not there is Joe. And the reason why is supposedly you have these group. They are blocking every. They block, I think, Pennsylvania Avenue. So, wow. So once again, the president is running late. Someone is like, yes, that's Wonder Woman. Why is paper recipient? I have no idea what you're talking about on that one. I truly apologize. Did he eat ice cream? And I don't know, but ice cream does sound kind of good right now. Ice cream does sound kind of good right now. They need to give me a second. They need to time his. Nah, I don't think so. Um, okay, I can't say a lot of stuff, guys. A lot of people just making some fun jokes about the the 4-6. Someone said that maybe he got to be wiped or something. I wiped, WIPED. Uh, well, again, one thing I tell you guys: if he's the only one that's late, then just um. People say they're not gonna watch it, but it's very important to watch these events. It's very important. All leaders around the world plays a huge role of Bible prophecy. According to Fox, once again, the president is currently running at least 20 minutes late for the State of the Union due to security concerns, with several hundreds of these groups blocking all of the routes from the WH. Well, that's what happened when you show up late. Everybody made it on time. 20 minutes late. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta show this here. Everybody's taking selfies and. All right. I wonder why they're dressed in white. So you have several left women are donning white outfits in the House chamber for Thursday night's State of the Union address, a show of support for reproductive freedom. Okay. All right. Okay. At least we know what that means. Give me a second. Wait a minute. Is he coming out? Oh, he was in the White House. So Joe randomly screams, "Don't jump on his way." What? Okay. I'm just gonna skip this one here. So this happened like 10 minutes ago, guys. Yeah, that happened around, I think it happened like around 8:30. Okay, guys, here's what I'm gonna do. I gotta go pick up my wife. I don't want to end this live stream. I just like being in the live stream, but oh man. I'm just gonna have to leave it like this. All right, and I'm gonna have to pick up the wife, and I don't know how long that's gonna be, guys. But I'm just gonna leave it at this spot right here. If you guys just want to watch the State of the Union, but I want to thank everybody so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please pray for the Americans in Russia. They were told to be aware of certain groups out there and possibly something big could strike at any moment. We don't want to see anything going on out there in Russia. I do believe Defcon is possibly on too, especially with New York and all that. They go Nancy. All right, so okay.
One of the reasons we're getting all of these shots is because
I'm gonna set up the audio, and if you guys want to stay here, you can stay here.
House of Representatives controls the feed, and
I'll be right back. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna leave it like this if you guys want to check it out.
Session of Congress, we get all these different camera views in, and it's really just a great sense of who's talking to whom, especially for House watchers, because you can kind of tell sometimes when, and especially during votes, when deals are being made, when certain members are being pressured to maybe change their vote or vote a certain way. One other thing I wanted to point out, Libby, is that Biden's State of the Union address last year had the second lowest ratings for any State of the Union address since 1993. And that'll be interesting to see what the White House does here, because they've put so much weight on this address as sort of this launching pad moment for Biden and for the Biden re-election campaign. What do they do to kind of translate this if the eyeballs are not there, for example, tonight, Libby? What do they do to translate that into kind of moments for them? That's something that we'll be watching kind of after the speech is finished here.
Thank you, JM. JM and James, if you could see where Rhonda and I are right now, you would see scores of photographers behind us, because their cameras are perched on the doors of the House chamber right next to us, because President Biden is in the building. We know he will come around the corner in a few moments. You can see there a little bit of the scrum as everyone waits to catch a glimpse of the president as he goes into the House chamber on this really historic night. Rhonda, it's a night that is part of our annual tradition now in America, but there's so much on the line tonight because President Biden running for re-election. We now know his opponent will be Donald Trump, and the Biden team is really looking at this as a way to get eyeballs, get focus, and really try to launch into the next 8 months of the campaign season, even as they do the normal presidential things they do. It's hard to describe just how packed it is in there. I mean, you can get a sense of it, but all the seats in the galleries, all those upper areas are full of guests, and it's very tight quarters. Tell us more, Rhonda, about the guests who will be in attendance tonight.
Well, in the First Lady's box, you actually see sort of that sense of urgency that the White House has in making sure tonight is about setting his agenda moving forward, focusing on what they believe is important. You have the Prime Minister, actually, of Switzerland. Sweden, I'm sorry. Who is there, who joined NATO, yes. Earlier today, he's there. You also have people who are affected by the Maui fire. That might be something a lot of Americans forgot about. There's also people who are involved in the Voting Rights Act as well. It's kind of running the gamut. You have the president of UAW showing Biden's strength with the unions this year.
And his hope to keep appealing to them,
exactly,
because there are a lot of union members who are pro-Trump. So
right.
This is a bloc that they really want on their side.
Right, right. You have Maria Shriver, who many people know her, but she is a journalist and a woman who has been working on women's health issues with the First Lady. She's also there. So that you feel like they wanted to check a lot of boxes tonight just by looking at the list of guests.
I just want to point out, we see Joe Manchin and Mitt Romney.
Two senators who are leaving after, so this is their last, most likely, State of the Union address.
And there's two senators who are seen to cross over the aisle, who are considered to be moderates in their party, sometimes infuriating their party, but still talking to the other side. And that's a group of leaders and lawmakers, Rhonda, whose time may be coming to an end right now.
That's right. It also shows you, because there has been a range of Republican members, especially, who have decided not to seek re-election in the House. It's called the casualty list, people who are leaving or seeking other office, and that list has grown this year. So that does show you that there is a sense here, too, that it is hard to get business done in this current political climate. I do want to let people at home know that this is the part of the night where there is sort of a hush right now in Capitol Hill. Earlier in our show, it was kind of loud and rowdy where we are standing, but right now everybody is waiting for the entrance of Joe Biden, and it is very quiet in here, or quieter than it was a few moments ago.
JM, we've had this looming government shutdown question. It feels like Groundhog Day all over again. Where is that process at right now?
Yeah, Libby, it's remarkable that this is coming amid 2 potential partial government shutdowns this month. Now, it does seem like the Senate is going to stave off one part of that. Tomorrow, they're expected to vote on that, but it's really remarkable because last year was one of the least productive years in congressional history in terms of legislation passed. So one thing that Rhonda mentioned earlier, and I think we just need to re-emphasize here, is how much does Biden point to Congress? Does Biden lay the blame for things like immigration at the feet of congressional Republicans? Because this is something that we saw, as the Biden campaign talks about how this is in some ways, even though this is a inherently policy speech or thought to be, that this is also sort of a launching pad for the 2024 campaign, a reset for the Biden campaign. And talking about a do-nothing Congress, if you will, was a successful campaign strategy for Harry Truman about 70 plus years ago in his re-election, and there have been some parallels drawn to the dynamics that Truman faced that year and what Biden is facing this year. So it'll be interesting in this speech tonight, Libby, how much Biden talks specifically about congressional inaction on these things and brings up the fact that we are still talking about funding for the previous fiscal year, and we're only about 6 months away from the funding deadline for the current fiscal year.
Thanks so much, JM. James, let's talk about what people are wearing, how they are choosing to make their opinions and priorities known through both their dress, through their buttons and pins, and through their guests, James.
Yeah, so the white ribbons, we talked about the white that the Democratic women are wearing. That's for reproductive freedom and abortion rights, IVF. The white ribbons that the Republican members are wearing are in honor of Laken Riley. She is the young woman from Georgia who was murdered allegedly by someone in this country illegally, and Donald Trump has made that a major issue. And you also see members of both parties wearing, you see Jerry Connolly there wearing a sticker that says 153 on it. He represents Northern Virginia. 153 is the number of days since the hostages were taken by Hamas on October 7th. And you can see Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman, entering the chamber there a few minutes behind schedule. I think that there might have been some holdup with people getting over because of protests that were blocking Pennsylvania Avenue and Constitution Avenue. But they're in the building now. That's the second gentleman waving at his wife. She's laughing. So people do use this. Troy Nehls, a Republican congressman from Texas, he's wearing a T-shirt with Donald Trump's mugshot on it, and it says "Never Surrender," and it's kind of this is the kind of thing that 25 years ago wouldn't have happened. It is the chamber has become a lot more colorful in that way, in some ways more parliamentary than the traditional decorum of the Capitol.
And Nehls is also interesting because Nehls was someone a couple years ago who pulled Biden aside as he was walking out of the chamber, talking about how he wanted to work with Joe Biden, and now he's become one of the most outspoken critics of the president. So this just tells you how some of these dynamics.
What's funny is that there are odd couples. Joe Wilson, who famously yelled "You lie" at Obama. He's now working with the Biden administration closely to try to get money for Ukraine, which is one of his big priorities. So it's funny how the tables can turn as you see the First Lady Jill Biden come in and the room kind of politely applaud.
Rhonda, the First Lady's guests are very significant. You can see some of them flanking her right now. And the White House has chosen people who represent a range of issues, from IVF and fertility, a real issue right now, given the ruling in Alabama. A plumber in Milwaukee who's been able to replace lead pipes and expand his business, looking at the priorities there. The President's cabinet is coming in. Also looking at some of the other spending priorities that the administration has succeeded with. A Native American tribal leader who's worked with the administration to modernize infrastructure on tribal lands. So they're really trying to reflect both what they view as their accomplishments in passing legislation, but also priorities. As we see the cabinet come in, we'll be watching to see who might be left behind. James, talk to us.
I will. We're still waiting to know officially who the so-called designated survivor is. But what's striking is no Merrick Garland. that might be by choice. Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel who's prosecuting not just the former president, but also the current president's son. A lot of frustration at the White House with Merrick Garland. So as you look at the cabinet, they're coming in order based on when their cabinet agency was created. So Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, was the first to come in because the State Department's the oldest department. Janet Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, followed by Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, who was
I didn't see Merrick Garland.
But no Merrick Garland.
Yeah, we did see Deb Haaland,
Yep.
Rhonda. Let's go to you, Rhonda, for more on what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's a cabinet, but this is so interesting to me because a few of them have been here on Capitol Hill having to testify, and that's usual, right? But there has been a sense that House Republicans did want to target the cabinet. Just last week, Lloyd Austin was here in a hearing because he did not let the president know or Congress know when he was in the hospital for treatment in January. He was testifying about that. I've mentioned too how Mayorkas, who we are now seeing, has been successfully impeached in the House. However, we're waiting to see if that will be picked up by the Senate in a Senate trial. I actually asked an aide that earlier today if there is any timing yet to know if that is going to go over to the Senate. And she just said they're waiting on the Senate. But this is a cabinet that, not only is the president been in the sights of his opposing party in this chamber, so has his cabinet. So that also is another interesting dynamic here in this room.
Yeah, a little awkward there, Rhonda, when you think about that. And specifically, James, we're also seeing a variety of other secretaries, ranging from the Secretary of Energy to the Secretary of Transportation, faces that people may know from their past politics, like Jennifer Granholm and Pete Buttigieg. What else are you? Oh, there's Merrick Garland. We saw him right there.
Exactly. Yep. So we saw Merrick Garland.
We also saw Lloyd Austin.
It is in a sea of black and blue suits. Gina Raimondo, the Secretary of Commerce, who was the designated survivor 2 years ago, and Marcia Fudge, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, both wearing green. This is an unusually late in the year State of the Union, so we're only 10 days out from St. Patrick's Day, so maybe a little early nod to that.
James, I'm doing a checklist to see who the designated survivor might be at this point. Has anybody seen Javier Becerra?
Yes, I saw Becerra.
Okay,
I saw Becerra.
Well, there you go.
We're trying to figure it out.
All right. So that's important, though. Tell us, James, why the designated survivor is such a big deal.
It dates to the Cold War. You have the entire government. You want continuity of government in case anything happens. And so you always want one person to stay behind just in case. It is a long-standing practice. Last year it was Marty Walsh, the labor secretary, who didn't come, but he had already announced his intention to leave the administration. So it wasn't a big loss. It was Raimondo the year before last. And then for Biden's first speech to Congress, there were no members of the cabinet because of COVID. So we're trying to figure out which one's missing.
Has anyone seen the EPA Administrator Michael Regan?
I have not. I haven't seen Marcia Fudge either.
I saw her.
I saw Marcia Fudge, and we see Julie Su, the acting labor secretary.
It's almost a game, spot the cabinet members.
The speech will start in just a few minutes. The First Lady is there. We are waiting for the President of the United States to come in, and the photographers who are gathered behind Rhonda and me are still waiting eagerly to try to catch that image. The President of the United States entering, you can see right there. We are based in Statuary Hall with our crew, and we got to see earlier the senators process through Statuary Hall, led by the Vice President Kamala Harris. JM, it is such a classic image that we always see. The Vice President, the Speaker of the House, flanking the President of the United States. What will you be watching for in terms of body language from them tonight?
Yeah, Libby, as our colleague Paul Kane pointed out earlier in the broadcast, Kevin McCarthy was in some ways overly stoic last year flanking President Biden. Some of our viewers might remember a few years before that, Boehner's kind of, at times odd or Boehner-like facial expressions behind the president. There have been times when, last year, then Speaker McCarthy kind of had to hush some of his members or tell them to tone it down when they were kind of interrupting the president. That's, how much those interruptions or sort of exchanges come into play. Our viewers might remember Biden sort of on his feet last year created that moment when some members on the Republican side interrupted him, and at one point he just said, "I like conversation." And that in and of itself became one of the key moments of the night, if you will, not any specific policy proposal, but that sort of exchange, his ability to sort of work on his feet there. One thing I'll quickly mention on the cabinet secretaries, we saw Julie Su come in dressed all in blue. She's been acting for the last year because of a holdup in the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
The President of the United States will walk down that aisle and be greeted by members of the House who are flanking the aisle, also senators and, of course, cabinet members. James, squeeze in for us who the designated survivor is. Answer the trivia question of the night, and then also reflect on what you're seeing from the president here.
The Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona, is the only cabinet secretary who is not in the chamber. A White House official confirms. Everyone else we've seen, this president accounted for. Cardona, a close ally of Jill Biden, former Connecticut Education Secretary, staying behind tonight in case anything happens.
So, what are you watching here, James, as we see the president? He's only made it about, what would you say, Rhonda, 3 feet inside maybe 10 feet inside.
What I'm watching for, that's Tim Blanchard, one of the people who voted to remove Kevin McCarthy, actually. I'm watching to see whether Joe Biden makes a case for himself or if he makes a case for his worldview. He is obviously, he's probably not going to mention Donald Trump by name. He'll allude to him, he'll refer to him. But ultimately, if the president wants to change the trajectory of the election, a campaign that he is currently losing, he will need to convince the American people that this election is not really about him versus Donald Trump, that it's about something bigger. And this is one of the few circumstances and situations where you can really reach people who may not otherwise listen to you. It may not, be a huge audience of persuadable voters, but there's millions and millions of Americans who are what the pollsters call double doubters, which is they don't really like Joe Biden, and they also don't really like Donald Trump. And Joe Biden needs to convince them, in many cases they voted for him in 2020, to vote for him again in 2024. I expect that Republicans are actually going to be on pretty good behavior. Mike Johnson has told them to be. Even Matt Gaetz, I've just heard from a source, is telling Republicans, keep it cool, don't do anything that gives Biden a moment where he can use you as a foil. And it's because they want to sort of deny him that opportunity to rise to the occasion. But the statecraft, the pageantry, Joe Biden really has an opportunity tonight to make a case for Bidenism, but also for international engagement, a case against protectionism and isolationism and nativism if he chooses to do it. We'll see if he rises to that moment.
Rhonda.
I'm just waiting because Biden was shaking everyone's hand. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the side there. She's wearing the Make America Great Again hat. And I thought at one point he might shake her hand. He's passing by her right now in the red.
You can see the Biden
she's one of the
crisis
fiercest,
button
of
that
course,
she's wearing. Yeah.
Supporters of the former president. And I don't see that they are engaging right now. But again, that shows you the dynamics we've been talking about. This is a somewhat more hostile House than she is mouthing something to him. I don't know what it is. But it appears other people are tapping him and he's moving on. Perhaps we might get a readout at some point late tonight or tomorrow as to what they might have said. But this is Joe Biden. Some presidents have, just shaken hands every 5 people. Joe Biden is the type to shake everyone's hand. And this is where the White House says he is most comfortable with.
Rhonda, I noticed Steve Scalise right there, notable, of course, because of the cancer treatments he's been undergoing. He could have become the Speaker of the House.
He could have, yeah. He could have. He was in the running.
Did not make that cut in sort of the chaotic rise of Speaker Mike Johnson. You can see Al Green there taking a photograph, doing a selfie with the president. JM, let's talk about this aisle position and what it means to members to be able to snag that moment.
Yeah, these members have staked out these seats for hours. We just saw Terry Sewell, Democrat from Alabama, taking a selfie with the president. We see Senator Martin Heinrich from New Mexico there. Earlier, we saw Democrat Sanford Bishop, who's the dean of the Georgia House delegation after the passing of former Congressman John Lewis. And now we see this exchange with Senator Joe Manchin, who has at times been sort of best of frenemies, if you will, with the president, right? And Kirsten Gillibrand there from New York, and flanked there by one of Biden's closest allies, Chris Coons, Democratic senator from Delaware. A lot of selfies coming down the aisle, Libby. I feel like we see this a lot on the exit, but this is a lot coming into the chamber. This is a very long procession into the chamber here for the president.
Yeah, they do know he has a speech to give, right? Because that's weird. They can actually just tune into the Washington Post, and they can see themselves on air right now. I'm going to talk to Rhonda in a moment about Senator Chris Coons, who she talked to earlier. But James, I want you to reflect on the way that Joe Biden handled Joe Manchin, because there was a lot of fury about Joe Manchin getting in the way of legislation progressing earlier in the Biden administration. But instead of punching him and really scolding him publicly, Joe Biden took a different tactic. What do you know about the president and how he operates that way?
Well, it's interesting because there is tension within the administration, and indeed, when Biden first came in, Kamala Harris gave TV interviews to West Virginia stations. She even wrote an op-ed in a West Virginia newspaper that said Manchin needs to vote for the American Rescue Plan. Joe Manchin is still incensed about that. He still complains about it to people as recently as last week. And so, but Biden himself has sort of a rapport and a relationship that's a lot better with Manchin than, say, the chief of staff or others. And Democrats were angry at Manchin. The crowd is chanting 4 more years there, but Democrats are angry at Manchin. But now Republicans are certain to pick up his Senate seat as he doesn't run for re-election. And they have 51 seats right now, so that takes it down to 50-50 just as the baseline. So they'll certainly miss Manchin when he's gone.
We can see the Supreme Court, who holds so much power, Rhonda, as they decide the fate of Donald Trump's electability, his qualifications for sitting in court, and that could ultimately decide whether or not he wins the presidency. We did see the president speaking with Ketanji Brown Jackson, first black woman to sit on the Supreme Court, his nominee.
And that was a part of his promise to black voters, that he would place the first black woman on the Supreme Court, something he did follow through with. I just want to point out that we're all looking to see if Joe Biden is going to have any energy in this speech. If he doesn't bring the energy, I believe the House Democrats and Senate Democrats, but mainly the House Democrats, will give him some of that energy. They, throughout this entire time in the 118th Congress, have been in lockstep with each other, which has been the split screen when we've seen the tensions boil over on the House Republican side, and they do want to show a unified front. I've mentioned before that almost all of the guests that a lot of the Democrats are bringing are related to the reproductive rights issue. They really want to underscore that as something that they believe they need the chance to govern. In those down ballot races in November, they need their chance to govern and restore some of those rights again. And he will likely focus on that as well in his speech.
What did Senator Coons, a top ally of President Biden, tell you earlier today?
He's, I asked him, why isn't Biden's message resonating with a lot of Americans? Biden has had some legislative achievements early on. Of course, there were some tangles. We all remember Build Back Better and some of the things he wanted to get passed through early, but there were some achievements that the White House says just haven't been felt by the American people. Chris Coons said he's just got to be he's got to be out there bragging about it, because he is also up against an opponent who has no problem speaking about himself. So that is what Democrats want to see more of the president do. Talk about the achievements, but they also know he's got to handle the border, he's got to handle reproductive rights, and talk about those kitchen table issues as well.
Stay with the Washington Post. We'll have live coverage after the president speaks at this State of the Union. We'll be checking in with one of our colleagues who's actually in that chamber tonight, watching and witnessing it. Rhonda, there's a lot of energy in that room tonight.
For a long day and a long week, trying to keep the government open again for the 5th time. They've all been here for a long time today, but they seem to have a lot of energy right now and really want to hear this speech.
The president looking up for his wife, the First Lady, a reminder that she is surrounded by people who are there with meaning and purpose to represent priorities, goals, and successes of this White House.
Good evening. Good evening.
If I were smart, I'd go home now. Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans, in January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, "I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. But Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself. That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now, my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. Can they stand up? Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. not bow down. In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you are here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood. America stood strong, and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office is defending against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child, but the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF. Guarantee it nationwide. Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. Thank you. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening to too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, its decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you get right about. Clearly. Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024. If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. Folks, America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we've come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses? Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind? A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news in 1,000 cities and towns. The American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told. So let's tell the story here. Tell it here and now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot, and we leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's what America does. Folks, my inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, and we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong. And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor, including some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers. Creating good paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America. And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. If any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage. Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in family farms, because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know, we're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same. The folks of Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs of the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sims, a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. We keep going. That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is bright. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger. Tonight, I want to talk about the future of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the state of the United States combined. And I've represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it. With the law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And but what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American in Egypt. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get an Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, well, even Moscow, probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, is still a very big deal. over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. Well, my predecessor and many in this chamber want to take this prescription drug away by repealing Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before and we'll stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. We enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady. We'll pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years. And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I, like I suspect all of you, want to give a child, every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year, that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten, or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is. I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry, I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them, as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought They educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to good paying job whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure that college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. And I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans. I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look, such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want the public school teachers a raise. And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion. I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share. Look, I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that could be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities, so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look, too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, I don't know, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's a hell of a lot, like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating. Folks at home, That's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front, so there are no surprises. It matters. It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now. What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low, look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress and the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks, I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now. And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families. I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. And so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans. Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now. A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him. Joining us tonight are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma, the daughter of gospel singers and preachers. She sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis is a great friend to many of us here, but if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back. Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage, because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour. We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't. I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world. I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs, like the IBEW work is building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking action on environmental justice fence line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. In pattern after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade. To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. The year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record. Take on crimes of domestic violence. I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America. There are other kinds of violence I want to stop. With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple days. We spent hours and hours with each of the families. We heard their message, so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it. Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also We will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. For the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time. And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel. My entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president of Israel in wartime. But there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel. For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America's falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that. I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. But there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. That's why the song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H, and remind us that we can do big things like end cancer as we know it, and we will. Let me close with this. Yay. I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II, when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president to our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president. In my career, I've been told I was too young. By the way, they're going to let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. And I've been told I'm too old. Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserves to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans, the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are, it's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future where the middle class finally has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, guys. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yikes. Sorry about that sound. Something just popped up. I guess it was a feedback on a microphone. Give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. We got some breaking news. Big breaking news just came out. Give me a second. All right, so once again, the president, it seems like it was 2 hours, but it wasn't. So it was like an hour and 30 minutes. All right, and once again, he's just stepping out and he's shaking hands. We're going to skip all that. But I want to bring something up really quick. There was big breaking news while he was giving a speech. There was a huge... where is it? Oh, here we go. You had FEMA, ICE, Department of Homeland Security. Everything was down. Everything was completely down. All right, so multiple gov websites, including DHS, ICE, FEMA, and the Secret Service, are down. The cause currently unknown. It's strange that this happened while the president was giving his speech. So, truly apologize about the lighting. I don't know what's going on here, guys. So, it's kind of strange. I feel after listening to... Don't feel... Nah. Look, it's good to listen to it. I listened to it. I listened to his speech, and it's very important to know these things. It's very important to know what the president's saying. But let me just talk about this one really quick. What in the world is going on with my... All right, guys, I truly apologize about the background. It doesn't look good. But yeah, there's been a massive outage multiple websites. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. It's very important that people start getting their money out the bank and start prepping. So this is a big breaking news. I'm gonna pull this one up. I got 2 videos coming up. 2 videos are coming up, and I'm gonna post them after I end this live stream. All right. So there's one video about New York. There was a massive attack in one of the subway stations in the Bronx. I don't think there were National Guards in that region. And then the other one is I forget what was the other one. I truly apologize. There's a lot of stuff I'm doing right now, guys. While I was listening to there we go. Give me a second here. Hopefully we don't get none of those crazy advertisements. Okay, big breaking news. All right, so I'm gonna throw this one in because this happened while the. Okay, give me a second. We're gonna have to turn off some of these things here. I'm gonna have to turn off the YouTube because it's slowing down my computer. Okay, so I did slow. I turned off a couple of stuff here. Give me a second. We're gonna talk more about the massive outage that took place. Okay. All right. Seems like everything's good so far. All right, so multiple Gov website, including Secret Service and Homeland Security, go down for 20 minutes during Biden's State of the Union before being brought back online. Let's see what's going on with this one here, guys. Again, please share this video. So, multiple United States Gov website went down as the president delivered his State of the Union address. Now, the website for the FEMA, the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and Secret Service displayed technical difficulty screens for 20 minutes on Thursday night. The cause for the outages is unknown. According to search.gov, a search engine by and for the federal gov planned maintenance was scheduled between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thursday. So whoever did this, there's a possibility they were sending a message. While the Gov agency website are down, much of the nation was watching the President's State of the Union. Why are a bunch of Gov website down at this moment in time? It seems like everyone is distracted by the speech. So there's a bunch of backdoor shady stuff going on right now. Well, here's the thing, guys. I was watching the speech at the same time I was doing all these research, and again, a lot of work going on right now, guys. Today's been a busy day, but yeah, you know, I'm always up to date with all these things that's happening. So here we go. So you have FEMA, right? They were down while the president was giving his speech. Department of Homeland Security, they were down. So user Jonathan Newsberg said, very strange that the Sleeping Giant Gov website are down during this hashtag State of the Union address. Now, speaking to a nationwide primetime audience, the president, 81 years old, is combating low approval ratings and question about his fitness for office. Now, once again, the president started off his speech with a joke before pivoting to strike on his rival, for the presidency, once again, the 4th. His goal with his speech is to present himself as a energetic choice worthy of a second term. Once again, the president said the bear leader, Vladimir, is on the march invading the yellow and blue and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. And if anybody in this room thinks the bear leader will stop at the yellow and blue country, I assure you he will not. All right, so once again, that's the big update. That is the big update concerning these websites that were down during the State of the Union speech, or speech. Once again, FEMA and USCIS are still down, while others have come back online. So I do believe they might have been who knows, hacked or something. Give me a second here. Ooh, I like this. I like again the poll. All right, so I like this poll. It's like pretty fun to click on one of these. Okay, what are everyone's thoughts on tonight's President 2024 State of the Union? He did an excellent job. It was okay. The speech was oh man, I don't know which one to click. Guys, which one you want me to click? Thank you, Brother Lewis, for all that you do. God bless every single one of you. We are powerless, someone says. Someone is like, terrible, terrible. Click on terrible. The last one. Ooh, okay, so let me just... I'm going to click on this one here, alright, guys? Ooh! Yikes. Yeah, you guys won on that one. 75.8% said the speech was terrible. 12.2% said it was okay. 12% he did an excellent job. All right, so it's only 6 minutes, so yeah, I believe it's gonna be the last one. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying, yeah, it wasn't that great. I kind of fell asleep. The best part was Marjorie Greene. She came out of nowhere. That was like the best part. Man. Who's this? I'm sorry, guys. Give me a second. This is a big breaking news that just came out 12 minutes ago. Manga artist Akira, creator of Dragon Ball, wow, has passed away at 68. Wow. Once again, 12 minutes ago. My condolences and prayers to the families and friends that lost their loved ones. Dragon Ball. Oh, this is the one right here, guys. This is the one. So this is when you had Marjorie Greene. Let's see what she said. Watch as the president mentioned Lincoln rally during his State of the Union speech after being interrupted by, once again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who urges him to say her name. Wow. Once again, Lincoln rally was murdered and, oh man, wow. Oh, okay, so this is the one. Okay, yeah. Man. He didn't even say her name. That was pretty messed up. 39 minutes ago. Give me a second here, guys. George Santos says he's running for Congress again. He intends to seek election in New York. Okay, so. All right, so. Alright guys, so this is all the information. I got 2 videos coming up. Again, make sure you check out the videos I posted today. Wait a minute, what's this? Alright, I'm just gonna skip this one here. But I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. I'm gonna end it right here, guys. I think we've been live for like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. But I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. FEMA is still down. It seems like it's still down. Hold on, what's going on with this one? The 4-5 said there is nothing he can say tonight that can absolve him from letting 15 million into the sleeping giant. Alright, guys. Let me just read some of your comments, and then from here, I'm just going to end it. But thank you so much for tuning in. La Familia Gia said, thank you, Luis. Thank you so much to the moderator. Thank you, Love Pugs and everyone. Thank you so much for staying this long. And you guys are amazing. Repent and be baptized. Love one another. Repent and be baptized. Is that Dragon Ball Z? Yes. Yes, that's the one. Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation. Amen to that. Yeah, so a lot of stuff that he said, it just, again, you know, typical stuff. You know, typical stuff. He said he's going to raise the tax on the billionaire. And when he say that, I'm like, no, what he's trying to say is he's going to raise the tax for everyone. Man, for everyone. Yeah, so a lot of stuff that he talked about, again, helping the ISR, the Holy Land, and so many other things. Yeah, so right now, guys, I'm not getting any more information. It seems like those group that was out there that was trying to block him from entering. Yeah, it seems like they might have left already. Tucker said this was the darkest, most un-American speech given by a sleeping giant leader. It wasn't a speech. It was a rant. Man. Wow. A lot of people saying, man, that was kind of boring. You have Bernie Sanders. He was out there with all right. Other than that, guys, I'm just gonna end it. I got a video coming up. Oh, and I noticed too that Mike Johnson, the speaker, didn't even stood up and applaud. And like I said, oh, that's really messed up. That's really messed up. Wow. They had to put Tales from the Crypt. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I got 2 videos coming up. God bless you all. I might be doing more live stream like this, more, again, around same time, maybe 10 o'clock. But thank you so much for tuning in, and have a good night. God bless you all. Till next time later.